The Ark of the Covenant. Surely you know about this Ark of the Covenant. There have been hundreds of thousands of articles and information online about this, causing a lot of curiosity and excitement for people around the world. This has always been one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Thousands of studies and discoveries by hundreds of thousands of researchers and archaeologists worldwide have tried to find this Ark. But recently those efforts have paid off. Scientists have revealed secrets that have been buried for thousands of years when opening the Ark of the Covenant. Yes, you didn't hear wrong. Surely the question that is appearing in your mind is, what was hidden inside this sacred Ark? Why haven't scientists announced this widely around the world? Because it can shock the whole world? We are Jesus' Eternal Aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and click the bell icon for all the latest updates. So, is it really found? There have been many different opinions about the fate of the Ark of the Covenant. It is widely believed that it was destroyed during the fierce battle when the Babylonian army besieged the Holy Land in 587 BC. Others say it is located in a mysterious cave in the Judean desert and has been sealed for millennia. There are also people who have seen the Ark in person, and it is secretly hidden in a church in Ethiopia. For many centuries, the true location of the Ark of the Covenant was considered a myth and had no scientific basis. But everything changed when this man, Wyatt, thought he had found the Ark of the Covenant and the stone tablet with the 10 Commandments of God right underground in the ancient city of Jerusalem. But is this search really reliable? There have been many opinions online that have completely opposite opinions. These are comments that we have collected on social platforms.
This whole thing is a lie. According to the Bible, no one can touch or come close to the Ark of the Covenant. So how can researchers find it?
The Ark could not have been in Jerusalem. It was destroyed by the Babylonian army in 587 BC.
We need to go back in time to better understand this. 3,500 years ago, Egypt, the land of the pharaohs, wasn't just home to Egyptians. It also housed the Israelites. These Israelites lived in Egypt but were subjected to brutal slavery. Despite their hardships, they never lost their spirit and continued to thrive and multiply. This rapid population growth of slaves worried Pharaoh. The Israelites, already suffering, faced even harsher persecution. Even newborn babies weren't spared from genocide. During this chaotic period, a boy named Moses was born. To protect him, his mother placed him in a basket and set it afloat on the Nile River, entrusting his fate to destiny. Fortunately, an Egyptian princess found him and raised him in the royal palace. In the palace, Moses received the best education Egypt had to offer and became a knowledgeable and influential person. Time passed, and at the age of 40, Moses accidentally killed an Egyptian, angering Pharaoh. On the other hand, the Israelites viewed him as a traitor. With nowhere to turn, Moses fled Egypt, married, had children, and lived a nomadic life for 40 more years. One day, while tending sheep on Mount Sinai, Moses saw a burning bush that wasn't consumed by the fire. Curious, he approached it, but a voice warned him not to come closer and to remove his sandals because it was holy ground. Approaching the bush, Moses was astonished to meet God. God spoke to him about the covenant with Abraham, promising a land flowing with milk and honey, Canaan. However, before receiving this reward, the Israelites would endure 400 years of hardship elsewhere, which explained their long slavery in Egypt. Seeing that the 400 years had ended, God instructed Moses to return to Egypt, confront Pharaoh, and lead the Israelites to the Promised Land. Moses was very anxious, having fled Egypt 40 years earlier. Returning seemed dangerous, but thinking of his people, he set off to petition Pharaoh to free the Israelites. Unsurprisingly, Pharaoh didn't believe in God and responded with even more brutal persecution of the slaves. To demonstrate his power, God sent 10 plagues upon Egypt. Only then did Pharaoh allow Moses to leave with his people. Hundreds of thousands followed Moses to Mount Sinai to thank God and seek the Promised Land. The journey was not easy. Soon after they left, Pharaoh regretted his decision and sent his army after the Israelites. Moses and his people reached the Red Sea, trapped with the army closing in. When all seemed lost, God instructed Moses to lift his staff, parting the Red Sea and creating a path through the water. Moses and his people continued toward Mount Sinai, wandering in the wilderness. Despite facing extreme heat and a lack of food and water, they persevered. Many grumbled, preferring to have died in Egypt, where at least they had food and drink. God once again helped them, turning bitter water sweet and providing quail and manna from heaven every night. 3 months later, the Israelites arrived at the foot of Mount Sinai. Here, God appeared in the sky and delivered the 10 Commandments, including the important prohibition against idolatry. Moses then ascended the mountain to receive further instructions from God. After 40 days, he descended with 2 stone tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments. God instructed Moses to build an ark to hold the tablets, made of acacia wood and overlaid with gold, with rings for easy transport. This Ark of the Covenant was not just a container but held great power. The ark could only be viewed from a distance and not touched. A man named Uzzah touched the ark and was struck dead. Some researchers speculate that the ark was an ancient capacitor. However, it was more than that, capable of emitting fire as described in the Bible. The ark served as an intermediary for God's presence on earth. When God manifested, even Moses dared not approach. The ark's power was evident when the Israelites used it as a weapon, notably in the Battle of Jericho. When Joshua succeeded Moses, he led the people to the Jordan River. As priests carrying the ark stepped into the water, it parted, creating a dry path. They marched around Jericho's walls for 7 days, and on the 7th day the walls collapsed. The ark brought the Israelites victory in many battles. However, overconfidence led to a defeat, and the ark was captured by the Philistines. The ark brought disease to their city, prompting the Philistines to return it after 7 months. This event weakened Israelite faith in the ark until King David, 300 years after Moses, restored its significance. David united Israel and made Jerusalem the capital. Despite his desire to build a temple for the ark, God instructed that his son Solomon would build it. David prepared the materials and location. Solomon's temple took 20 years to complete, designed magnificently. The ark was placed in the Holy of Holies, a windowless room deep within the temple. When the priests brought the ark in, a great cloud filled the temple, signifying God's glory. Under Solomon, Israel reached its peak in economic, political, and cultural prosperity. However, in 586 BC, the Babylonian army destroyed Jerusalem and Solomon's temple, possibly losing the ark in the process. However, Babylonian records of spoils do not mention the ark, suggesting it was hidden before the siege. One theory is that the prophet Jeremiah hid the ark on Mount Nebo, where Moses saw the promised land. This mountain is significant to the Israelites, marking the end of their journey to Canaan. Jeremiah concealed the ark with other sacred items, blocking the entrance with a large stone, making its location a perpetual mystery. Despite the challenges, passionate archaeologists haven't been deterred from exploring Mount Nebo in hopes of finding the sacred relic. Many have flocked to the site, scouring every inch, but no one has discovered a cave that could house the Ark of the Covenant. Recently, some have begun to question whether the mountain mentioned isn't actually Mount Nebo, the place where Moses saw the Promised Land. If it's not Mount Nebo, then it could only be Mount Sinai, as mentioned earlier, the place where Moses received the 10 Commandments. However, unlike Mount Nebo, no one knows the exact location of Mount Sinai according to the Bible. After extensive investigations, the most supported conclusion is that the biblical Mount Sinai is actually Jebel Musa on Egypt's Sinai Peninsula today. But this is just an assumption lacking solid evidence, so it doesn't fully resolve the mystery of the true Mount Sinai. Researcher Ryan Mauro offers a different perspective. He argues that the Mount Sinai described in the Bible does exist and is actually located in Saudi Arabia, not Egypt. Mauro's theory, which he details in his documentary, Finding the Mountain of Moses aligns with various historical sites in Saudi Arabia that match the biblical account of Moses. Mauro's claims are compelling enough to challenge the prevailing assumption that the Exodus is purely a myth due to the lack of evidence found in Egypt's Sinai. He suggests that scholars might be looking in the wrong place and asserts that if they explore northwest Saudi Arabia, they would find convincing evidence supporting the biblical narrative. According to Mauro, the real Mount Sinai is in the northwestern province of Saudi Arabia, and his hypothesis is backed by several pieces of empirical evidence. The Bible describes God descending upon Mount Sinai as a fire, and Mauro points out that certain peaks in the Jebel al-Lawz range in Saudi Arabia appear blackened, as if scorched by fire. Moreover, the account of Moses parting the Red Sea to escape the Egyptian army is also supported by evidence of an ancient land path between Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Mauro also claims to have found the rock where Moses struck to bring forth water, matching the biblical description in the same area. Given such a holy relic as the Ark of the Covenant, it's expected that many theories would arise. Despite the compelling evidence, none of the caves around this sacred mountain have yielded the Ark. Thus, other possibilities remain. One theory suggests that the Ark is hidden in the Judean desert. A surprising notion, since this location is rarely associated with the Ark in ancient records. So why do some believe the Ark might be hidden in the Judean desert? In late 1946, as the sun rose over the Judean desert in southern Israel, 3 Bedouin brothers were searching the hills near the Dead Sea for a lost goat. They stumbled upon a peculiar cave, and when a boy named Mohammed threw a stone inside, he heard a shattering sound. The stone had hit a ceramic jar containing strange scrolls. Little did he know, these scrolls were part of a significant ancient religious manuscript collection, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Scholars later retrieved around 100,000 fragments from approximately 900 manuscripts across 11 caves. New fragments continue to be found in the area to this day. Most scrolls are written on parchment, with a few on papyrus, dating from the 3rd century BCE to the 1st century CE. The Dead Sea Scrolls are a collection of Jewish texts written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Though many scrolls were fragmented, experts have worked diligently to piece them together into comprehensive manuscripts. These scrolls fall into 3 main categories: biblical texts, apocryphal texts, and sectarian manuscripts. The biblical texts include copies of each book in the Hebrew Bible. The apocryphal texts feature works previously known only through translations or entirely unknown. The sectarian manuscripts encompass various genres, including biblical commentaries, liturgical texts, and apocalyptic writings. Scholars believe these valuable texts were hidden by the Essenes, a Jewish mystical sect, to protect them from Roman forces, much like the biblical account of the prophet Jeremiah hiding the ark before the Babylonian siege. Given this context, it's possible that the cave hiding the Ark of the Covenant could be among the thousands of caves in the Judean desert. Whether the Ark is concealed on Mount Sinai or in the Judean desert, it remains incredibly challenging to find. No one has yet dared to conduct an extensive archaeological search on such a massive scale to uncover this sacred relic. During this time in Africa, far from the Holy Land, an organization declared that they possessed the Ark of the Covenant. This organization was the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. They claimed that the precious Ark was being kept in a treasury within the Church of St. Mary of Zion. According to them, other replicas of the Ark were stored in churches all across Ethiopia. The belief in the Ark's presence in Ethiopia stems from the country's sacred chronicle, called the Kebra Nagast. According to this chronicle, King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, who bore Ethiopian lineage, had a son named Menelik. Although he was born and raised in Jerusalem, Menelik had to return to his mother's homeland when he came of age. Before leaving, some of Menelik's companions secretly entered the temple and stole many of Solomon's precious treasures, including the most valuable one, the Ark of the Covenant. They replaced the real Ark with an exquisitely crafted replica that was nearly indistinguishable from the original. Menelik took the real ark and placed it in the holy city of Aksum, where it has remained to this day, guarded by monks at the Church of St. Mary of Zion. On January 17, 1991, British scholar Graham Hancock visited Aksum and met with the guardian monk, hoping to catch a glimpse of the ark or gain some valuable information about it. However, the guardian monk was reluctant to reveal anything about the treasure inside the sanctuary. The next evening was a local religious festival, and it was said that the ark would be paraded through the streets. Hancock attended the festival, hoping to see the ark with his own eyes. But he concluded that the ark paraded that night was a replica. The guardian monk remained steadfastly protective over the real ark at the church, suggesting that the paraded ark was not important to him. The question of whether the Ark of the Covenant truly resides in this church remains a mystery. Despite Hancock's thorough investigations, the possibility that the Ark might still be in the Holy Land of Jerusalem cannot be entirely dismissed. In the 12th century, some scholars claim to know exactly where the Ark of the Covenant was located. They said that when King Solomon was building the temple, God warned him that one day it would be completely destroyed, including its most precious treasures. To protect the ark, Solomon constructed a labyrinth of tunnels so that the ark could be safely hidden deep within the Holy Land. Because it was so carefully guarded and concealed, the ark survived the temple's destruction, but no one has seen it since. It might still be buried deep underground to this day. Could this be true? Around 1982, an American explorer named Ron Wyatt was actively searching for the ark. Wyatt's first discovery was an altar carved into a rock face in Jerusalem, believed to be a relic of an early church, possibly dating back to the 1st century. Early believers surely knew this was an important site. Wyatt and his team continued to dig and eventually discovered a network of ancient caves, where they found the lost Ark of the Covenant after more than 2,000 years. Unfortunately, our explorer was battling cancer. However, before he passed away, he described his discovery in an interview. He said that at 2 a.m. on January 6, 1982, he and his team found the ark buried under the old ruins of Jerusalem, at the site where Jesus was crucified. When the Babylonians began their assault on Jerusalem, they built massive walls around the city, preventing anyone from entering or leaving. To move around undetected, the Israelites constructed many tunnels, some of which still exist today. The Holy Ark was hidden in an underground chamber, which was then sealed off and forgotten. When Wyatt's team examined the cave, they noticed a strange black substance seeping through a crack in the ceiling, directly above the Ark's location. Wyatt collected this substance and had it analyzed. The results were astonishing. Human cells typically have 46 chromosomes, 23 from the father and 23 from the mother. Of these 23 pairs, 22 are autosomes, and one pair determines sex. However, the blood from the ark had only 24 chromosomes, 22 autosomes, one X chromosome, and one Y chromosome. This meant the person from whom the blood came had a mother but no human father, a mystery that Wyatt could never fully explain. Throughout his life, Wyatt found many biblical relics, with the most well-known being Noah's Ark. However, he claimed that divine intervention prevented him from taking any photographs or videos of the Ark to show the world. Wyatt's discovery intrigued many believers, strengthening their faith, but it also drew skepticism, with some accusing him of being a fraud. Despite the criticism, Wyatt never disclosed the exact location of the Ark, which only fueled the doubts. Perhaps Wyatt anticipated this and accepted it, knowing that belief in the Ark's location lies within the faith of true believers. In conclusion, the existence and exact location of the Ark of the Covenant remain shrouded in mystery. Among the various possible locations, most are too vast to explore thoroughly. The only place that might allow for verification is the church in Ethiopia, but it's nearly impossible to get permission to investigate, as the Ark is a sacred and untouchable symbol of spiritual and religious significance. Personally, I believe that whether or not the Ark is found is not of great importance to the faithful. The spiritual value of the Ark is far greater than the physical act of finding it. As long as the Ark remains undiscovered, people's faith remains strong. They will continue to heed its teachings, striving to better themselves and make the world a better place. Do you think the Ark of the Covenant is truly lost? If it still exists, where do you think this sacred artifact is hidden? Leave your comments below. Your answers and discussions will make this video even more valuable to the community. And today's video: why exactly does the Ark hold such significance for so many people? The Ark of the Covenant holds immense significance for many people, particularly in Christian theology. It is often seen as a prefiguration of Christ. The Ark, which contained the 10 Commandments, Aaron's rod and manna, symbolizes God's presence and His covenant with humanity. In Christianity, Christ is viewed as the fulfillment of the law represented by the commandments in the Ark and the ultimate mediator between God and man. The mercy seat on the Ark, where God's presence was believed to reside, parallels Christ's role as the mediator who reconciles humanity with God. In Jewish tradition, the Ark is central to religious rituals and beliefs. It was the most sacred object in the tabernacle, and its presence in the Holy of Holies, the innermost chamber of the tabernacle, signified God's direct presence with the Israelites. The Ark thus represents God's covenant with Israel, His law, and His mercy in forgiving sins. The universal symbolism of the Ark captures themes of faith, mystery, and the divine across various cultures and religions. The Ark is often seen as a symbol of divine presence and power. Its mysterious disappearance and the numerous legends surrounding it add to its mystique, inspiring a sense of wonder and fascination. This reflects humanity's ongoing quest for the divine and the eternal mysteries of faith. Although most theories about the Ark's current location remain speculative, there are possibilities that it might be discovered in the future. Advancements in archaeology, particularly in technology, have opened new avenues in the search for the Ark of the Covenant. Ground-penetrating radar, light detection and ranging, LiDAR, and satellite imagery have revolutionized the way archaeologists explore potential sites. Ground-penetrating radar, for instance, allows researchers to scan beneath the Earth's surface without disturbing it, which is crucial when searching for artifacts like the Ark that are rumored to be underground or within structures. LiDAR technology, which uses laser light to map out surfaces, has been instrumental in uncovering lost cities and could potentially aid in identifying hidden structures where the Ark might be located. Additionally, satellite imagery can reveal topographical changes over time, offering clues to areas that might warrant closer investigation. However, the potential discovery of the Ark raises several ethical and religious concerns. The Ark is considered sacred in various religious traditions, and any attempt to uncover it must respect these sentiments. Disturbing the Ark, if found, could be seen as a violation of its sanctity. The potential discovery might also challenge historical and archaeological understandings, prompting a re-evaluation of ancient texts and beliefs. Moreover, there is a debate among scholars and religious leaders about the handling of such an artifact. Questions arise over the ownership and custodianship of the Ark. Nations and religious groups may claim rights over it, leading to complex geopolitical negotiations. Should it be displayed for public viewing, or should it remain untouched as a sign of respect for its religious significance? Its treatment might set a precedent for handling other religious artifacts discovered in the future. The decision could have far-reaching implications for interfaith relations, as it involves respecting religious sentiments and balancing historical curiosity and scholarly research. Furthermore, any excavation or exploration in search of the Ark needs to be conducted legally and with respect for the local culture and history. This involves obtaining necessary permits and working closely with local authorities and experts to ensure that all activities are ethical and responsible. Unauthorized searches or excavations can damage historical sites and rob local communities of their heritage. Moreover, such activities might disrupt the area's ecological balance, causing harm to the local flora and fauna. Engaging local communities in the process can help preserve the site's integrity and ensure that their traditions and beliefs are honored. There is also the risk of exploitation, where the search for the Ark is used for commercial gain rather than for historical or religious understanding. It's essential to balance the pursuit of knowledge with respect for the sacredness and cultural value of the Ark. While modern technology offers exciting possibilities for discovering the Ark of the Covenant, any efforts to locate it must be balanced with religious respect, ethical exploration, and legal compliance. The discovery of such a significant artifact would be an archaeological milestone and a moment of profound cultural and religious importance, reaffirming humanity's enduring belief in God and the divine.